Alright guys, I am trying something new today. So, I'm in the shop where I work occasionally. I help out. It's family business. We're doing hydrographics today, and we're going to see if we can use hydrographics. And if you're not familiar with hydrographics, it's awesome. You'll see the process. We're going to see if we can use hydrographics to do camouflage on our Warhammer vehicles. So I have one of my custom creations here. It's my own take on an Annihilator. All custom, lots of different things. You can see it is not your standard Lehman Russ at all, and it is definitely not the Forge World Annihilator. It's painted in Games Air Somber Gray as a base color. I have a Trojan support vehicle, and I just have sort of an in-progress Lehman Russ hull. We're going to hydrographically dip into various camouflage patterns. This one is called, I forgot what this one is called, but the way this works is you use certain activators, you lay this film on the water, the film disappears, leaving just the ink, and then you dip the item in. Now, it's kind of predicated on using a certain base coat paint to get the ink to stick, and then you've got to overcoat it. If you take a look here in the shop, these are all different prints and patterns, as are all of those. So there's almost a limitless amount of different kinds of patterns that you can do. It's never been tried, as far as I know, in the history of anything on models, though. We're not sure how it's going to work. It's traditionally used on guns, car parts, cups, bottles, things like that. I have a steel water bottle that's done in it, and things like of that nature. So anyway, this is going to be an interesting experiment. We're going to coat my Trojan in an actual base coat that would be used for hydrographics. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use my standard Army color of the Somber Gray or Gunship Gray. But we're going to dip this and see if the ink sticks to this. Now, this has also been base coated a long time ago. It might not stick just because the paint is cured for so long, but I really want to try this camouflage pattern over this paint, and you can't even really get a good sense until it's done. And then we'll try this also over what would be a lightish tannish green, and then we'll see what other pattern we do on this. But just to get a sense is if this even works, if this is even a possibility. So let me get these all set up. Got to make sure we have these devoid of any kind of fingerprint oils or grease. Since we've got resin parts, I already washed them down, but we really want to do good grease, wax and grease remover and everything, and get them all set up. Again, don't know if this film will stick to this paint. Don't know how this is going to work out on a model with all those little detail areas. This has not been tried before. We're going to give it a shot. Got a little turret on a stick. We'll just come in on an angle. We'll dip the turret. We'll try to do it so that we have as much of the gray showing as possible. And nice and slow to let the ink wrap around. And hopefully this will work. So right now, see the wrinkles, or I don't know if you can see them in the film. It's hydrating. There's a timer. You'll hear buzz. When that reaches 60 seconds, I'll spray the activator on here. Waiting for what we call the film to glass over. When it looks like glass, we're ready to dip. And right now, it looks like I have a good camo pattern on this tank. We won't really know till we rinse it all off, though, and check it out. But it does appear to be sticking. We'll find out as it dries, though, like I said, and I do the rinse. In order to dip this, I'm coming to terms with the fact the bottom's not going to get the camouflage, because the way I'm going to have to hold it is kind of like so. And the real important thing is I want to get as much of this covered. This is going to be hard to get the pattern all in there. Now obviously I'm going to do detail painting over it and all, but so the goals are to make sure we get the pattern on top and on the sides, front and back. I'm not sure how this one's going to do, but I'm going to make the attempt to go in on the rear and then roll down and get it to come up over. I just hope I don't drop this thing.
Slow.
Slipping.
Keep going. You're good. Just keep going down. Put your arms in the water if you have to. Alright, you're under.
I think the sides got it. So, different print going on the Trojan. You can see here the colors, and the Trojan is painted kind of a white color, so we'll see that coming through. We'll see how this works. At least this way, the Chimera hull or track sides have this little ridge for me to hold on to as I dip it down, which will help. We still might not get a full dip. We still might have to do a bottom side dip again to get underneath as the plow breaks the surface of the film. But we'll see. Yeah, so really good on the top there. We're going to have to do a little bit more to get some of that pattern to flow evenly. I went too slow. I should have moved it into the pattern a little bit. So this one, you know, in the back, we want to redo that. The bottoms of the sides, we'll redo that. We'll rinse it off. Pretty good on the plow, though. And the top is okay. We can live with that. I need to clean this one up a little bit, though. Now that the pattern's dry, I'm just going to use a little alcohol to clean up the areas where I want to re-dip. And kind of put a new print on there. Really should have tested if the paint was alcohol friendly. Seems to be okay, though. I know the stuff that we normally base coat the Hydrographics stuff items with is. And this just takes the ink from the Hydrographics right off. And lets us reapply kind of to where we want to touch something up or we want to redip. Basically want to do this bottom area again. Now on this guy, I want to do a little bit more cleanup. I want to get this off the white over here because I want to dip this all again. I want to clean up the back. I want to redip the back. Really not happy with the way that came out. Dip backwards, roll forwards.
I want to see how this works.
Will you do my spraying for me?
I will. I would
See,
love
I'm
to.
just concerned about getting under there. So dip backwards,
So I would
come
literally
down forwards.
pull it a little bit back and then forward
Yeah,
as you roll forward.
as I roll. Dip backwards, pull, roll forward. I love this print, though, this Neptunian print. Looking for glass.
I'd say it's good.
All right.
Tilt more. you go. Now, forward and roll forward.
I need to get a little bit more back. Cover some of the white areas. Now, pulling forward, rolling.
There you go. Oh, you don't want to go forward then.
Spot on. It's experiment time. Hydrographically dipping a Bane blade instead of painting camouflage on it. I dipped a Lehman Russ. I've never dipped anything this big with this many protrusions, so this is base coated in Model Master Gunship Gray, and we'll see how it comes out. I'm going to do what's called a 50-50 dip, where we will dip one side and then dry it real quick, but leave the PVA film to protect the other side, and then dip the bottom. So we're not going to get full coverage on this all at once, I know it. So we got good coverage on the top. We even got a little bit under the barrel, but we're gonna have to do, like I said, that 50-50 to get the sides done really effectively, and we'll get a little bit more under the barrel and on the bottom surface. So this is a finished result after dipping and then doing the secondary dip, just to make sure that we covered the bottoms. And I'd say this came out really, really well. Much quicker than doing painting. Well, we have to do just like a base coat, but you know, you could use a good primer color that you want for the base coat. And then I did this second tank in the same colors. And the cool thing is, the way that the films work, basically, you'll get the same, you know, colors and shapes, but rarely, if ever, yes, the patterns do repeat on the films, you'll never get, I mean, so rare is there a chance that you'll get the exact same dip twice. So these things will be unique every single time. And I'm pretty sure I called it a Bane blade before, but of course this is a Shadow Sword. And I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Now with the lighter gray, the Gunship Gray versus the somber gray, I think actually better color for the Deception film that I used, because you can see the multiple grays in the Deception film. It stands out better. You see a little bit of a difference in the sheen between the paint and some of the film. That's fine, because the clear coat we put over it will take care of all that. But cool pattern on the top. Everything came out really, really nice. And now this stuff is on there, because once we've washed off the PVA, the plastic carrier film and stuff, I can just paint right over this. So I can do all my detail painting right on top of this. And, and basically it's ink. So it's just like any other paint right on the plastic here. So I'm going to get to do some detail painting and then get some more shots of it, show you. It's just like any other paint job. Alright, so looking at some of the, I can't say final results because none of these are finished. Looking at some of the comments I got in some of the Facebook groups that I'm part of, they felt that the camouflage I put on here was really more Tau Eldar, not quite for the shape of this vehicle, and I agree. So I went and re-dipped this in more of an ATAX kind of woodland finish, and I think that fits this vehicle a lot better. Needs some touch-ups, but I think that it's a really good start for this vehicle, for the Trojan, so I'll work on that. But I think that if you look at the results, if you look at what we did and the time frame, it's a really good option for uniquely finishing your Warhammer vehicles. Not just Warhammer vehicles, any kind of, the cool thing about Warhammer, and I've said this in a lot of videos, what I love is that you make your army your own. and that your army can be what you've seen 100 times before, because that's what you want it to be, you know, fitting into, you know, a famous regiment or something like that. Or it could be something that nobody's seen before. But you know, you can do what you want. And the Hydrographics gives so many options, and it makes it so easy to do a cool paint job. So for people that aren't really good at painting, for example, and they want a camouflage or they want a pattern, you know, that really stands out, it's an option. It's a really good one. Now this is just to show you, these two vehicles now are detail painted and gloss coated. So I used my standard, you know, host of everything from Model Master, Vallejo, Games Workshop, everything painted just as I would right over the Hydrographics, and paint takes to it, and then I gloss coated with Gauzy, which is one of my favorite gloss coats to use before decals and everything, and it paints on and over just like any other painting that you do. And then you see the sheen all matches, you know, just like as if you had painted with anything else, ready for decaling, and then further weathering, and then, you know, final detailing and stuff. It comes out great. So I'm going to do a third tank, kind of my own design, my own mishmash conversion to match these two. I've got it in progress now. That will have the same paint scheme. We'll have the somber gray, and then we'll get the defective or deception or defection or whatever hydrographic pattern. This is actually called Over It, and I'll, you know, come up with, like I always do, the mythology of this particular squadron and why they're painted the way they are. But definitely a cool thing to do with just a few of your vehicles or all of your vehicles. It works great. If anybody has any follow-on questions or anything else about hydrographics, how it works, or wants to think about different things that you can do vehicle-wise, or, you know, just let me know. Go ahead, drop a comment, send a message, or you can email airforcebuilder@gmail.com. I think it's just really, really cool option-wise what you can accomplish with this stuff. So anyway, guys, I hope you thought this was as nifty and cool as I do. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back again with another video, hopefully sooner than it took me to get this one out. All right, see you guys then.